How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Poke Forward. My name is Ruffle Rowlett. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the most amazing things that could be happening for Nintendo Switch. Yesterday was the Nintendo Direct. As of when I'm recording this, it should be yesterday. But either way, the Nintendo Direct happened and they announced some very big things. One of those things is that Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, and also Game Boy Advanced games are going to be coming to Nintendo Switch Online, which is massive. Now, they only really started off with a few games to begin with. They're saying it's going to be a growing library of GBA games, including Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, The Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap, and more is being added to Nintendo Switch Online, plus expansion packs. So, what does this mean for us? Well, it means, ladies and gentlemen, that we might see, as Mixelli pointed out right here, and shout out to Mixelli, he's another YouTuber, makes some great content, who said, do you know what this means? This and Pokemon Home trading with old generations more quickly and just in general. And I think you don't understand the situation we're in. Now, what is he talking about? Well, basically, because Game Boy and Game Boy Advanced are going to be in some way or shape now on the Nintendo Switch, like these are going to be available. Certain games where there are certain Pokemon, which we normally can't really receive in the current games, you know, like in regular ways, are going to be available now. And if you just don't want to do the hassle of going through Pokemon Bank, and then from Bank to Home, and then from Home to, you know, wherever you want to take your Pokemon, this will be a way to catch brand new Pokemon in the old games, put them in Home, and then send them all the way to, you know, over to whatever, you know, game you want to send them to, whether that be Scarlet and Violet, whether it be Sword and Shield, whether it be Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Don't know who the hell is sending stuff over there, but you get what I'm trying to say. And that's the big thing about this. This opens the door for a lot of stuff. Now, of course, they didn't announce any Pokemon games as of yet. There's nothing Pokemon related that's been announced, but what are some of the possible games we could see, and why should we expect to see it? Well, let's talk about that. Number one, what are some of the possible games? Well, obviously all the GBA games and the original Game Boy games. So anything like, for example, Red, Blue, Green, those are all possible. Those were also released on the eShop with the Virtual Console back for the 3DS. That's one of the things. Then you also had another one, which is, we can't forget, we also had, I think, Pokemon Yellow, right? That was also as one of those, like, that was released on the Virtual Console. We did, I think, also have a few more. I just cannot recall them all off the top of my head. But what will be great to see is a return of Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. Those 5 games, okay, those 5 games from the GBA era are some of the most replayed, most popular, most beloved games that I know people that I play them all day, okay? I play them every day. I still play Fire Red, Leaf Green all the time. Still play Emerald. I'm about to play Emerald after this video. So what I'm trying to say, the point I'm trying to make here is that these games are still beloved by people, and they can just make money off of it. Again, the only question is, will they sell them separately? Because that's the thing with Pokemon. Will they sell them separately, or will it be part of the Nintendo Switch, like, you know, online feature? Or will it be kind of like an expansion pass thing? Like, oh, here is, like, all the GBA games, or like, you know, half the GBA Pokemon games in one expansion pass, and there's a second one, and you pay like $15 for them or something, right? Like a reasonable price. Like, let's not exaggerate. If they're asking $60 for Fire Red, Leaf Green, Emerald, and shit, that is ridiculous. You can literally buy an actual cartridge or a fake cartridge for like $15-20. You know, and then at least you have a physical copy you can put and play on the original console, if you have the original console, of course. But you get what I mean? Like, if they're gonna ask for too much, it would be kind of ridiculous in my opinion. But either way, what am I trying to say here? Well, it would be sick because it would allow us to do nice, like, trading of our Pokemon. They'll be able to, you know, be sent between one console, or sorry, not have to be sent between one console to another. Instead, everything would be on the Switch. Basically, the future of, I guess, Nintendo and everything is this one handheld plus, you know, home console combination. So what are we going to expect in terms of release time for this, and if it's going to happen? Well, I do think it's very possible. The fact that Game Boy Advance was even, you know, added on there, which we kind of already knew this was going to happen a little bit because we did have some leaks last year. There was actually leaks for this. This information was already leaked. We knew the Pokemon trading card game from the Game Boy was going to be on there. We already knew that, and we knew about a bunch of the Zelda games and some of the Mario games. We knew about all this stuff from a massive leak from last year. However, we didn't hear anything about, you know, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Emerald, Sapphire, Ruby, that stuff. We had heard no information about that, but there's a big possibility for it being announced specifically on Pokemon Day. Now, if you guys don't know, Pokemon Day is coming in. Pokemon Day is going to be on the 27th of this month. It is currently the 9th as of me recording this, so we have less than 20 odd days to go. Like, yeah, less than that. We only got about, you know, a few, like, what is it, 18 more days or so to go? I don't know. Math on my head is not really working at the moment, but you get what I'm trying to say. We don't have a long time to go until Pokemon Day, and some of the things we're expecting to see on Pokemon Day might be this, because it's a long enough time where it's not super close to a Nintendo's Direct, and far enough away where they can be like, oh, and hey, we want to announce, as you know, as a part of the Nintendo Switch Online expansion passes for the GBA, we're announcing a 2-pack release of Fire Red Leaf Green and Ruby Sapphire and Emerald, right? Or something like that. Or, you know, oh, hey, we're going to do a pass for like the Game Boy. That's going to be the first expansion pass with red, blue, green, maybe green. I don't really know, you know, because it's Japanese and all that. But, you know, red, blue, green, yellow, or whatever. And then we're going to have another, you know, expansion pass release with, you know, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire with all of those. So that would be 2 passes, one for Game Boy, one for Game Boy Advanced. And maybe, just maybe, I'm really hoping, okay? I'm really hoping they might re-release you know, Platinum and you know, Diamond, Pearl, Hot Gold, Soul Silver, all that stuff with a DS emulator later on. I'm really hoping for that, because you can actually run DS games on your Switch. Like, you can emulate those games on your Switch. I've got that on one of my hacked Switches, so it is definitely doable. But I would prefer, like, I am willing to give you money, Nintendo. I am willing to give my hard-earned money to you for a game I already own. Again, I'm willing to do it, because I just want to re-experience it on a new console. It would just be so sick, you know, to just plug in your Pokemon, you know, Emerald on the big screen and just play it on a massive TV in, like, you know, with all the shit in there. Like, I don't know, it just would be so cool, man. That's like why I'm so stoked about this and I'm so excited for this. But the question, of course, is, when is this going to release, if it does actually happen? I think this could happen this year. And the reason I say it could happen is because this year is not a game release year. There is no plan. As far as we know, there is no big Pokemon games planned for this year. There's no massive projects, no massive releases, nothing that's like beyond the DLC, right? We expect the DLC this year, but we're not expecting any remakes. We're not expecting like I'm not expecting to see Johto this year. I'm expecting a Johto game next year. So we're not expecting anything big this year. But that's also the point, because there is nothing big. Usually they do spin-offs or extras and shit like that. For example, when Sword and Shield had its DLC, the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra, they released in that year, I think, almost 3 different spin-off games. We had Pokemon Unite, we had Pokemon Cafe Remix, and I think, I could be wrong here, it was either Mystery Dungeon or Snap, the new Snap game. I think it was New Snap. I think that was the one that came out. But that was like 3 different things, plus like some other small shit in between. They like put out a lot of that stuff all in a very short span of time, right? Because they needed to fill the year out, right? They need to fill that year out because there was only DLC. There was nothing major coming out. There was no big game to make them a lot of chunky money and keep people interested, because that's the thing. They want to make sure that you stay, you know, in tune with Pokemon throughout a whole year. They want you to do that. They want you to stay in touch with Pokemon, buying the merch, buying the cards. You know, some people fall out of it. I know people that, you know, they'll be super into Pokemon for a month and then they'll just drop off because they're finishing the games. There's nothing to do. The DLC takes forever to come out. Well, not really. I mean, to people, it might be like that. I get it, though. Like, they got to make those things and it takes some time. But to some people, it's like, nope, it's taking too long. You know, and they'll be busy doing something else. But what Nintendo, Pokemon Company, especially Pokemon Company and Game Freak and them, what they want is for you to be non-stop involved with Pokemon. And the only way to do that is by releasing a lot of products, right? Releasing, you know, the TCG, the merch. They want you to buy those things. But also, to keep you invested in Pokemon, they gotta release the games. They gotta release updates. They gotta release DLC. They gotta release spin-offs. They gotta release, you know, even mobile games. Just keeping you engaged with the franchise. So, one of the best ways they can do this is a two-course through this year release of one expansion pass with the GB games, and then a second expansion pass with the GBA games. That would be so sick, because that would be perfect. We have something to do for like all the parts of the year. For the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and the fourth quarter of the year, we'd have something to do, right? We'd have some form of a game to enjoy, some form of Pokemon to play and experience, and etc. You know what I mean? Like, we would have something to do that whole freaking time. And that's what it's all about. And that's really a weird reference to make, but you get what I'm trying to say. It would be the perfect way to just kind of keep this year busy, just kind of fill in the gaps of this year's release windows and make sure that people are still engaged with Pokemon before next year happens, because next year I'm expecting 2 game releases. I'm expecting 2 versions of Johto to happen next year. Now, what kind of version is that going to be? If that's going to be a Let's Go Pikachu type game, I don't know. If it's going to be a proper remake of some game, I don't know. If it's going to be a remake of Crystal, maybe, because Crystal never got a remake. We did have, you know, Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but that was a remake of Gold and Silver. So maybe they'll do a remake, because they always do that as an excuse, right? Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee was a remake of Yellow, right? They didn't say it was a remake of Fire Red, Leaf Green, or Red, Blue, etc. No, it was a Yellow remake. So I'm thinking, maybe they'll do a similar thing, like, oh, it's a remake of Crystal, which is really interesting because if you actually look at the design of the Terrastal crystals in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, they look oddly similar to the shape of Suicune's like crystal on its head, which either is an homage or just like a coincidence. But usually with Pokemon, it's not a coincidence. They tend to do these things to hint stuff, and it could be that that's their way of hinting at like, hey, we're doing, doing Johto next, which we already know they're doing Johto next. I'm gonna make a video about this, talking about all the reasons why Johto is the next games, but we'll do that later on. Either way, that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you all for watching. We've got more videos coming out tomorrow and later on, but thank you all for seeing this one, and make sure to subscribe, leave a like down below, and all that sort of stuff, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out, and have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.